7 o'clock, and I call to order our City Council meeting for March 3rd, 2025. For all of those that are able to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please do. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. With that, roll call, Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Rounds.
Here.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Here.
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilmember Frymark.
Here.
Councilmember Houston.
Here.
Councilmember Friend.
Here.
All right. Next item is proclamation for Red Cross Month. So I'll read our proclamation here. In times of crisis, people in Woodland come together to care for one another. This humanitarian spirit is part of the foundation of our community and is exemplified by American Red Cross Cascades region volunteers and donors. Whereas in 1881, Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross, turning her steadfast dedication for helping others into a bold mission of preventing and alleviating people's suffering. Today, more than 140 years later, we honor the kindness and generosity of the Red Cross volunteers here in the city of Woodland who continue to carry out Clara's life-saving legacy. They join the millions of people across the United States who volunteer, give blood, donate financially, and learn vital life-preserving skills through the Red Cross. Whereas in the Cascades region, which serves Oregon and Southwest Washington, the contributions of more than 2,500 local Red Cross volunteers give hope to the most vulnerable in the darkest hours. Whereas in the past year, these volunteers provided financial assistance to 692 local households impacted by fires involving 2,339 individuals. They deployed more than 200 local volunteers to respond to disasters involving wildfires, floods, tornadoes, and hurricanes across the country. Whereas through the generosity of blood donors, more than 251,475 units of essential blood were used for accident victims, heart surgery patients, and those receiving treatments for cancer or sickle cell disease. Whereas they supported service members and veterans an average of 11 times a day, along with their families and caregivers through a unique challenges of military life, and they helped save the lives of others with first aid, CPR, and other skills training, or delivering international humanitarian aid. Whereas their work to prevent and alleviate human suffering is vital to strengthening our community's resilience, we dedicate this month of March to all those who continue to advance the noble legacy of American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, who lived by her words, "You must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it." We ask others to join in this commitment to give back to our community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Todd Deinhardt, City of Woodland, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of Woodland and Cowlitz County and State of Washington, do hereby proclaim March 2025 as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of Woodland to reach out and support their humanitarian mission. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my 3rd day of March in the year of our Lord 2025 and of the City of Woodland in Cowlitz County, State of Washington, dated this 3rd day of March 2025. Any questions or comments about the Red Cross and what it does for our communities in Southwest Washington and Oregon and Woodland here? Ms. Butler.
I'll just make a quick comment that the Red Cross has always been appreciated in our family, and my grandparents joined the Red Cross after they lost a daughter, a 3-year-old daughter, to a rattlesnake bite, and they didn't know what to do about it. They became very avid members, so our family's always been very supportive.
Absolutely. So thank you for sharing that. Next item, citizen communications for items not on the agenda. First individual here is PJ.
Hello, Councilman.
How are you,
Mayor.
sir?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman, and community of the Woodland. My name is PJ. And in 2010, I was severely hurt on the war on drugs. I was wrongly arrested and jailed, and it turned my life upside down. Through a lot of hard work, I rose to become a general manager of 2 cannabis retail stores in Walla Walla, called the Walla Walla Weedery, and here in Vancouver, called the Vancouver Weedery. 2 years ago, the state gave out social equity licenses for people that were wrongfully harmed by the war on drugs, and the owner I work for helped me get one of those licenses. They gave out 44, and I got awarded one out of all those 44. They gave me the Cowlitz County, and to locate either here or Longview, and Longview is already at max capacity. So I'm here today to ask if Woodland could please lift the ban so they can have at least one store here. The cannabis is still brought here in Woodland, and it's missing out on a lot of tax revenue. Me being a general manager for the 2 stores I run, and how much taxes they pay within the city, and it's still getting purchased around Woodland and just being brought back here to Woodland. And I feel like me being here and opening one here, I can help with a lot of things with especially tax revenue here in Woodland. So I'm just here to see if you guys can please lift the ban so I can hopefully open one here in Woodland. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate any comments, questions from council. All right. Next individual, Rob from the Port of Woodland. Come on up, sir.
Mayor, council, public members here. I am Rob Rich, one of the 3 port commissioners for the Port of Woodland. Our port district extends from the Woodland Bottoms, encompassing most of the city of Woodland, and going as far east as Cougar, about 15,000 people represented in the port district. I'm here this evening to share with you that the Port of Woodland is considering a proposal to utilize a TIA, or tax increment area, to further our mission to promote and provide economic development in our port district here. We want to invite the council as well as any interested public to either of our 2 open houses that we are holding at the port, 1608 Guile Road, on Tuesday, March 25th from 2 to 4, and on Thursday, March 27th from 5 to 7. And that will be with our port staff and with our consultant that we're working with to help demystify some of the ideas that go along with the TIA, to answer questions and to help educate people that are interested in learning more about it. I know it's been very helpful for me to learn more about that as time has gone on here. It's a good opportunity to ask these questions. You may have some individual questions that you'd like to ask in advance to make sure that they're available there. When I finish my remarks, I have a copy of the draft proposal here, along with my contact information. The proposal is 77 pages, but I'll ask you to look specifically, the easiest way to do it, pages 5 and 6, which are the projects that the port is looking to have supported through this. I'd also want to point out, not only for the council, but for the public, that not only is this available on our website at the port to be downloaded, but anybody that would like a copy of it can request it of the port, and the port will copy it off and you can pick it up down there. So we just wanted to share that, and look forward to seeing as many people that have an interest in that. And I'll hand this out unless you have some questions you'd like to ask. If I'm able to answer them, I will. If I won't, we'll certainly get back to you on that.
So can I throw something out, Rich? And
Yes, sir.
Mr. Friend, you are more than welcome. Mr. Dahl is here from the county commissioner's
yes.
office. He's next on the list, and he wants to talk about this same item, I believe. I don't want to speak for you, but I believe that's a nod of yes. And so, do you want him to speak, and then?
I just had a question
Okay.
about the time. You said what day was 5 to 7? That
Oh,
was all.
you bet. I'll repeat those again. Well, for you, sir, Thursday, March 27th is from 5 to 7 p.m. And then earlier in the week, Tuesday, March 25th, from 2 to 4. So kind of a mid-afternoon and then a early evening option there. And of course, you can attend both. So, well, I will pass these out. I'll be available for questions if after Mr. Dahl's remarks have questions that might be good for both. We can certainly do that.
Okay,
All right, I'll do that.
Mr. Dahl.
Okay, I appreciate the time. I have something on my radar, and the more I've looked at it, the more it's become on my radar, and it's something I'm going to start speaking about. I've been out to the city of Castle Rock. You're on my list today. We'll talk about it at my meeting tomorrow. I'll get over to Longview, and I'm sure my opinion is going to be different than what you just heard. In 2021, House Bill 1189 was passed, implementing these tax increment areas. These are areas that can be done by cities, by ports. In this case, it's by the port. I think it encompasses, I think from the paperwork, a little under 5,200 acres, 51 something acres. And basically what it does is when it goes into effect, in their case, it affects Cowlitz County, it affects the city of Woodland, and it affects Clark Cowlitz Fire and Rescue. And what it does is the tax receipts these entities receive are frozen at the value this goes into effect. And over the period, in this case, over a period of 25 years, as the values increase, that money gets redirected to the port. And the entities are frozen at the value at the time this was put into effect. This law is another nonsense law out of Olympia that you don't get to vote on, I don't get to vote on as commissioners, and the people affected most, the taxpayers sitting behind me, don't get a vote on. It's a document signed by a bureaucrat in Olympia at the Treasury office that institutes this and puts it into place. What's it mean to us? From their documentation, over the 25 years, the estimate is Cowlitz County, it'll cost Cowlitz County $30 million in lost revenues. When you add in bonding capacity, that's another $30 million in lost bonding capacity for large projects. For you guys, it's right around $3 million, probably some of the same bonding issues. For Cowlitz Fire and Rescue, it's $9 million. I got off the phone with Cowlitz Fire and Rescue today. This will be the third one that they're placed under. City of Ridgefield, Port of Ridgefield, now the Port of Woodland. It's going to cost them $70 million over the term of these things. How do these entities, how does the county, how does the city, how does Fire and Rescue make this up as time goes along? Well, obviously, the emphasis on new taxes is obvious. These people make it up. And I have real struggle with that. It's a backdoor tax on our public with no direct say. They have no say in the matter. Remember, a bureaucrat in Olympia signs this off. That's how proud they were of this legislation that they don't even give you a chance to vote on it. You know, I have no issues with ports. I have no issues with economic activity. It's what we expect. But I look for entities through sound management, sound fiscal policy, and through sound business practices like our port, up the road a little bit in Kalama to do their job. They can be showcases. They can be real winners. But I would suggest to you that operating off the backs of the taxpayers through subsidy instruments like this tax increment area is not sound management. I would argue it's not sound fiscally, and I would tell you it's not sound business practice. And I will also tell you, I think we're looking at a workshop on the 16th we're trying to get, and our meetings are always public, and we'll talk openly about this. And I'm not here to offend anybody. I know we disagree, and that's fine, but we won't be supporting this, and we will fight it as best we can with Olympia. So I just appreciate your time.
Absolutely, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Armstrong.
If we wanted to fight it, how would we go about it?
They have 2 meetings coming up, but those are just for informational meetings. They do have to have a public hearing meeting. I'm hearing that sometime in April. And then like you would have a public hearing meeting for somebody doing a land thing, the comments would then go to Olympia. So I think that's probably where if you have things against it, that's the place to do it, to get it on record. I'll probably be calling my reps and my senator, although it looks like my senator might have voted for this, but I know my reps didn't. So,
Yeah, a little more color on this here. Mr. Dahl left me voicemail, and I kind of played voice tag with him on this. Had a little bit of discussion with Jennifer Ray King. Asked if somebody from the port could come tonight. So that's how we're getting here. I think it's important to note the city does not get a vote in this, which that's where my heartburn comes from. It's something that's impacting the city. So you said roughly 5,000 acres. It's 5,052 acres of port property. Of that, 477 acres is inside the city limits. So we're impacted with 477 acres that the property taxes would remain flat for the next 25 years. And again, to put it in kind of a layman's term here, so all of a sudden if something gets expanded and we go gangbusters with this growth, and you look at, Cowlitz County PUD or Cowlitz County Fire and Rescue, where do the funds come to pay for that new fire station if their impact is the same? So then it comes back to, we have a conversation with the port. And again, I'm not here to tell you one way or the other. These are the things that individuals in our community need to think about that's out there. And unfortunately, the biggest thing with me is U7 do not get a vote in this. But again, we have those 2 meetings on the 25th and the 27th that can come. There will also be a workshop, it sounds like, on the 16th of March with the Cowlitz County.
is that a Wednesday?
One moment, please. No, that is actually a Sunday.
So it has to be the 19th then?
Then it must be the 19th.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I appreciate you coming. Questions or comments? That is, and like I told these 2 gentlemen before the meeting, it starts with dialogue and conversation. I think partnership between the city and our county commissioners and our port is very vital to the city of Woodland. And so I appreciate you both coming up and speaking on this.
Sure.
And I would look to council if they have any questions.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the handout? The
Uh,
1.5 local fire service and the numbers on that?
I haven't looked that up. What first caught my attention was our finance officer brought us a document they provided to us, and it's not the full document.
It mentions a little over 9 million that you did
Yeah,
over a period of 25 years.
right. And in conversation with that gentleman today, they're already under one for the city of Ridgefield and the port of Ridgefield, so their total is about 70 million is what he told me.
Yes, I do know that,
Okay.
Ridgefield, this is how some of their development has happened.
Yeah.
So, come on up, Rich.
Yeah.
up, sir.
Just a quick comment. Oh, go ahead. Ms. Rounds, for the public, for the public to weigh in, our commission meetings are the first and third Thursdays of each month, and there is the open public comment. You can also email or leave phone messages, and I know that sounds like kind of a put-off to say that, but there is a way to engage, and the public deserves to have that opportunity. And if you have, after reading, after questions, after such, if you or any members of the community have concerns that they want to ask, we're the port for this whole area, and we want to be doing the things that our community wants us to see. This happens to be strictly something that has to do with economic development, but as has been very succinctly shared, there are two sides to this issue. And so if there are questions, this opportunity to come on the 25th and 27th, excellent time, but also to directly address the port at either a commission meeting or by phone message or email, we would appreciate that. Didn't mean to answer.
Hey, Rob?
Yes,
Can you answer a question for us?
certainly.
I'd
You
like
bet.
to hear your side of this $9 million impact to our fire capability around here. I mean, that sounds pretty dramatic to me.
That's part of, that's going to be part of mitigation that we have to look at. As a port, if there's a certain percentage of this tax increment that is going to affect, I think it's over 20%, I believe, that if it's going to affect a fire district, then by law, we're mandated to do mediation with them. We would be doing that anyway. We will also be doing that with the other fire district that's only affected less than 2%. But the reality is, whether it's 2% or 20%, we are responsible to come up with some kind of plan to try and make it better for them. I do not have that answer. It'd be unfair for me to say I have that answer because I don't, but that is a real concern. That is an honest concern.
Yeah, I'm mostly for what the port does, but I tell you, this strikes me as pretty dramatic.
Yeah. So on that note here, just presenting more facts. So the port's required to mitigate with entities that are impacted by 20% or more. This would include Cowlitz #1 fire for the Woodland Bottoms. Clark Cowlitz Fire and Rescue is total of 1.3 through the life. So that's where they wouldn't be required, but you would hope in good partnership and relationship that would come through. So just a little bit of, color on that piece there. The city is also below the 20% threshold. So, Mr. Hall.
What department of the state does this go to? Who has the approval? The treasurer?
What were the times and dates of your meetings again?
Oh, that's Tuesday, the 25th of March
No,
here.
no,
Oh,
the
I'm
port
sorry.
meetings.
Oh, it is the first and third Thursdays of the month, and although I could be in error here, I believe that the April 17th meeting, on the timeline that I have recently seen, the April 17th meeting is the meeting that we actually vote on either moving ahead or not on this.
And what time are those meetings?
Those 9 o'clock in the morning.
9 a.m. Okay, thank you.
You bet. Thank you, sir.
Just to make sure I'm understanding, 'cause obviously I haven't had a chance to read through everything. We're freezing property taxes across that 400 acres.
477 acres.
Do we know if any of our housing developments that are being worked on are in those 477 acres?
They're not.
They're not,
No.
okay. Do we have any proposed developments in those areas now?
We have some small ones. Travis, do you want to chime in on that?
I'm trying to get to if there's areas of land that are not valued at much today, but they have proposed developments, and that is going to cause significant increase and then have a detriment.
So there is currently the Trammell Crow warehouse, which has a couple buildings that are in plan review. They may be in place prior to this, and whether they would be affected or not, I think is something we would need to address and clarify.
Okay.
Because it'll affect their numbers, whether it's in and out or counted or not. So they will need to also know that information before it goes into effect.
Thank you.
Well, again, thank you very much for your time, and Commissioner Dahl as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both gentlemen for coming. I appreciate the partnership and the conversation with you. Any other questions from council on this item? Fire away.
If you don't mind, I'm going to give you my professional opinion on this. I have wrestled with this for a long time, and as a planner and the city's planner, I have some significant concerns, but I also am 50-50 on this because my concerns, I can also see the benefits to it. When I first got to the city, my opinion is that the port was in a position where they really thought of things as a small project, and then they would take the revenue from that project and save it till they could afford to do the next small project. And somewhere along the way, the port really kind of shifted their mindset from that kind of grow the nest egg to their job as an economic engine. And they started thinking in terms of, okay, if I take that project and sell it and triple my money, then they could invest in another project which would quadruple the money on top of that. And so it really started creating a bunch of jobs that ballooned over time, as opposed to trying to fiscally responsibly collect rent until you can afford to do the next project. So their vision has changed significantly, and that makes me feel better. But as the city planner, I'm concerned, of course, because the faster projects occur, the faster the impacts like traffic and job competition and rising house prices affects us, and we are kind of again buffeted by those things that are outside of our control. But I also have kind of the same comments and poke the bear letters that I've been sending to the county since I got here. So I tend to be a little more pessimistic on both sides. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is the new port director, or the port director who was new kind of when I got here, Jennifer, I have no doubt that she will do what she believes is best for the community. And so I'm encouraging you that this is really important, that you get in and understand this and make sure that what she thinks is best for the community and what the port thinks is best for the community aligns with what you think is best for the community. Because there are pros and cons, and if this goes ahead, things could be phenomenal, because essentially what they're talking about is investing in the infrastructure so that the community doesn't have to. And so we could see phenomenal economic growth and development, job production in the community in, say, the next 5 to 10 years, better than anything you could have conceived. But at the same time, that's got the negatives that go along with it. So this is one of those things that's going to come across your desk that really it's important that you pay attention and get involved.
Appreciate those comments,
Thank
Travis. The important piece here is, again, this is property taxes, so impact fees would still be collected by the city and things like that. But again, and then I think, Dawn, did you have a question that you were wanting to ask?
Mr. Goddard started to highlight, to touch on this, but one concern I would have is the roads. Roads in and out, roads around. Who's responsible for the upkeep? I mean, because the care of the roads to either the city or the county could be millions and millions of dollars, where I'm not sure that the port is going to be responsible for the care of the roads in and around that area. So that would be my question.
Correct. So develop a road, and then all of a sudden we have, you know, multiple trips per day, wear and tear on that road.
Yeah, and another exit 21
Correct.
problem.
So
Yeah, so that's my question.
100%, and that's why, again, I think it's good dialogue. Community needs to
Yeah.
get involved. City
And
council
something to
members here.
think a little bit further versus just the property tax that you're losing. What is that responsibility?
100%, and that's why I threw out the fire, you know, engine piece, just simple layman's term, but 100%, it's roads, it's quite a bit. So thank you, Don. Any other comments or questions, anyone from the audience that would like to speak up on this? Okay. Next item on the, or individual citizen comments, Bobby. Come on up, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. So yeah, my name is Bobby Vickery. I am I'm a disabled vet, medically retired first sergeant, and right now myself and Zach Goldfinch back there. We have purchased a property on North Garrick Street to open a tap house, and so it's the lot that's just to the side of Rooster Brew, where there's a blue house there currently right next to the insurance office. What we're looking at is we're looking at building a tap house it's a barn dominium style building with second floor deck, overlooks the water, something that is that will be both enjoyable but also has a relaxing feel as well. We're also going to be looking at taking shipping containers and retrofitting them into 3 different restaurants. And then we're going to be also showing or having grain silo. It's going to be a fire pit, but it's going to be a gazebo that has like a grain silo feel to it with fire pits. So just a really nice, comfortable feel for the community. And then also one of my favorite parts is that we're going to have planning on having an 80 by 100 turfed area for for the kids to go out and go play while the parents are hanging out having a meal or a beverage if they so feel. But also what that's going to do, we're hoping to do like movies on the lawn, right? Having an opportunity to we go out and we'll show The Goonies or The Sandlot, right? Movies and just opportunities to bring families together. And then also some live music as well, and making sure that we are in accordance with any noise policies or anything else that the city has set out. The most important thing here is that we're pushing for family friendly. We are community people, and that's when Zach and I sat down the first time. We talked about a place. The whole idea of what a public house was when they first started in Europe, which was a place where people and families can come together and meet and commingle as a community. The issue that we're dealing with is that the traffic study that we had to complete and that we'll have to provide when we provide our site plan to the city. That traffic study came back and we're looking at about a $225,000 traffic impact fee. And just so you guys, just to kind of give you a little bit of a look behind the curtain, SBA, the Small Business Administration, they require about 20% of your construction value. You have to come up with that and have liquid capital in hand to be able to do that loan. What that means for a guy like me, just trying to be a business owner, that means I have to come up with $400,000 of liquid capital to be able to put in something that I think is going to create economic development and a sense of community for the city of Woodland. One of the things that we're a little bit worried about is that this type of impact fee, which has to be paid, my understanding is at the time of when before the building permit can be issued or finalized, that all has to be paid up front. That's significant. And if you look at over the life of the loan, I'll probably be having to pay approximately $500,000 for that $225,000 impact fee. What does that mean? What that means is that I'm not going to be able to provide living wage income for my employees. That is going to directly impact my ability to say, okay, yeah, hey, I would love to pay you an extra $4 an hour, but guess what? I've got an extra bill that I'm paying every month for the next 20 years, and it's pretty difficult there. So Zach and I, our vision is to be part of a community, or to be part of something that helps the community thrive, to invest in the community. What we want to do, and I think that it'll really resonate with you. Some of the things that we want to do, we want to help the Little League. We want to be able to, we want to be able to partner with your high school, with your middle school, get in with the schools to say, hey, what can we do to partner with you to provide opportunities and to help this community? One of the things that happened to me as a child was Christmas Eve, seeing my church come to my house on Christmas Eve with presents because we were way too poor to have any presents on Christmas. And what I want to do, I want to be able to create a program that will work with your counselors in your different schools to find out which ones are in need and create some type of program where we can, you know, that secret Santa, right? We want to maybe help with Thanksgiving meals, job opportunities for your high school students, and even possibly the idea of, you know, having an internship for your business-minded students where they can come in, look at how the business operates. Hey, come help me work on the food side. What does it take to run that side of the business, to operate, to order food, to you know, look at your financial statements and you know, how to articulate that. So really the reality is, for Zach and I, this business will create an opportunity. It's the conduit for us to give back to a community. So the reality is that that impact fee will greatly reduce our ability and our flexibility to support the community the way that we want to, and to provide living wage jobs for your citizens the way that we want to. And I understand. I mean, I get it, right? We understand that taxes that fees and taxes are necessary to make a government, make a city, make it run effectively. But I would imagine that your constituents would say, hey, you know, you got a vet here who just wants to be able to start his own business, but man, that would really be, that makes it very difficult. And I don't know if you can tell the emotion. I'm a very emotional person, but it's something that we truly believe in. And so my hope here is to be able to start the process of having the city council be able to review that impact fee. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in government, so I don't know how this works, right? But I do know that, you know, coming here in front of you guys hopefully is the first step to get that going.
So, these items here coming out of the mayor's report, these were things that I had done and talked to. So I met with Bobby and Zach last week to talk about this here. They gave me their vision, and I'd heard rumblings about, you know, a new restaurant, tap house type deal going in Woodland. Last week was my first time to meet with these two gentlemen. So the 31 trips, again, impact fees were raised. Right, wrong, or indifferent, we're trying to make up for where we were charging roughly $500–600 for impact fees on for transportation, and now they're closer to $8,000 for each trip based on your peak hours. The study, and it comes back to 31 trips for a business such as this, gets you around $250,000. So, again, my conversation with these two gentlemen, they had done a little bit of research on who Todd Deinhardt is the mayor, and they saw that Todd is very much, what's good for you is good for you, good for you, and we had that dialogue and conversation. And so I said, hey, I can bring this up and talk about it at council, or you can come. I just want to be respectful. I don't want to get out in front of everybody about this new opportunity that's happening here. And so what the conversation is as a council, you know, it's not like we can give them special treatment, but is it a moratorium that we want to do? Do we want to look and say, hey, is it excessive? I mean, it really comes down to dialogue and conversation. So my conversation with Bobby and Zach, and feel free to chime in here if you heard it differently, was come to council, we're going to socialize it here, and then depending on the direction of council, if I see some nods or whatever, we can put a workshop together and we can discuss and say, hey, what do we want to do? And then eventually, depending on what you all want to do, it'd be a first reading, a second reading, and away we go. And council may say, you know what, we're happy with our impact fees. Have a good day, Bobby. That's the way we are.
Yep.
I'm here to provide direction with the city. Council is here to vote on that stuff. So that's a conversation we had, and that's the reason we're here. Ms. Dowdy.
So first, I want to say thank you so much to both of you for your service. I also want to say thank you for wanting to bring something to Woodland that is for families, because I think it is something that our town is drastically lacking. And as long as I've been on council, I've been looking for somebody to bring something to Woodland that does bring that sense of community, that brings families into it. So I really appreciate your idea. I have seen this in other towns that I've been in. That's similar concept, using containers to have not carts, but similar kind of restaurants,
Correct,
and
yep.
having big open spaces. And it is amazing the population and the family and the sense of community that it brings to those environments. And so I see how impactful it could be to our community in such a positive and wonderful manner that I look forward to hopefully having you guys as part of Woodland. So with that being said, I would definitely like to look in how we could help them to get this something to be here in Woodland, because I think this is something that our town is definitely lacking, and I think that 250,000 does sound excessive for something that benefits so many of our citizens.
Yeah, and under the 250,000, so just, again, a little more detail. You all know I'm kind of a detailed person in these things. So if you bought an existing business that was there and that went out, those impact fees would have already been paid based on the number of trips there. So they wouldn't be stuck with this 250,000.
Right.
Because they're buying an undeveloped piece of property. I know that there's a house on there, and we can go down that whole rabbit hole. But because of that there, you're looking at, okay, as a residential, we had, 1 or 2 trips. Now we're all of a sudden. So that's what this is all about. Again, I need counsel.
Right.
It's a
Let's
decision.
have a workshop.
I would love to have a workshop.
Take a look at the fees.
Okay.
Excellent.
You're on it.
Any other? Yeah, I'm sorry.
I really don't want to have a workshop on this because it's a startup business. This is my banker background coming out. We never finance startups because you have no proven cash flow. You have no business experience. All these things come into play. It's a pretty big gamble, and I just don't think that we should be playing with our fees for something that we don't even know if it can fly. So it sounds undercapitalized, and it's an idea. I agree with that, but I don't think it's not anywhere near.
So, if I can speak to that, please, council member, I have spoken. Right now, my bank is Columbia Credit Union, and with my business banker, they have said that yes, there are specific funding streams for startups such as myself, and the requirement is A, you got to have good credit. B, you also have to have that 20% of equity going into it. So so with that being said, and the business experience where my partner Zach Goldfinch, he was actually one of the members who. The owners of Three Peaks in Ridgefield when that started. So we do have that experience. We do have the backing of the bank who says, "Hey, let's go for it." So that I hope that that we wouldn't be without having that information from my bank, that we wouldn't be short-sighted on that. That would be my hope.
Okay. Any other dialogue or question, Mr. Freimark?
I kind of like the idea. 225,000 sounds like a lot to me for permits. I wouldn't want the city to make any money, particularly on your endeavor, but I'd want you to be able to cover the real costs, whatever those are. I have a hard time imagining it'll be that much, but I'd like to know the real figures from a city standpoint of just exactly really what it's going to cost to have them get started on it, in the short term and the long term too, because we've got infrastructure concerns to take care of.
And as part of the traffic report from the traffic engineer, they have stated that there are no upgrades that will be necessary to any of the roads for this to take place.
What about different access? Are you only accessing it from the frontage road right there?
From Gehrig,
So there's
not from 503.
Couldn't go from Cherry Blossom where they have where I think there's a dedicated.
So that's a whole nother, that goes into the planning
Right.
piece and all of that. It doesn't impact the transportation fees. We can have that dialogue as we move along here, further through. Because obviously your site plan has not been approved and
Correct.
a lot of
Yep.
things going on there.
And that site plan will be submitted within the next week and a half. So that's where we're at in the process.
Do you have the property already?
Yes, I own the property.
Yeah, I think it's a workshop.
So, okay.
Okay.
I want to be clear. You cannot, I mean, we can't say, oh, boom.
Understand.
You get this here and we're giving you a moratorium, but everyone else. So
I
I just want to
understand.
be clear that as we are having the conversation.
Perfect.
So, go ahead,
Just-
sorry.
Just before you got to be the mayor, we we had a moratorium. Huh?
It was a holiday.
It was a holiday moratorium,
For commercial.
and we adjusted rates to be comparable. So I think we need a workshop if we do anything.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I think we have, oh, Mr. Friend.
So definitely in favor of a workshop, but I do think you hit on something key, that if we make an arrangement, we should expect that we have to be open to that for any other business that walks through the
Yeah.
door. So,
Yeah, it's like this holiday, you know, when they did it, I don't want to say it was for a year or during COVID. I mean, so, you know what I'm saying? So it's,
Have to be for every.
yep, and if there's people lined up out the door, you know, to get in. So, again, there is other businesses within the city who have also come forward, down towards Belmont, some of these other places. So there is
and we could be specific in a plan that this isn't for residential builds.
100%.
Right. So-
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
I have to agree with Councilman Terry here, to some degree. I'm okay with the workshop, but would want to warn you that you should come prepared with an extremely good business plan and be able to ask all the tough questions like Terry put forth to you. Because
And that's
well,
100% with
you're
my
taking on a
right.
big
And
chunk here. No, I'm a veteran and I'm all for you.
right.
Just because you're a veteran, you know, that's
And I appreciate that. And my work with my banker has she has told me very much that she is confident with my business plan. And you know, that's to me that the banking side is one side. My work with the city, that seems to be probably two different issues on how sound my business plan is. So, but yeah, we feel really good about what we're doing and the viability of the business that we're going to bring to Woodland.
But just come prepared, do
Yes,
your
sir.
background research, and maybe even get a presentation for us.
Yes, sir.
And be prepared to answer tough questions.
That would be
I've
great.
got one other question. Has this already been submitted to Travis?
Site plan will be, so we've done the pre-plan process, the pre-site plan, and that has been approved on the pre-site plan, and so now we are in the process of where I had to get all of my engineering and all of that completed, and so, yeah, that should be submitted here in about the next week and a half.
So, again, not to let, just speak for you all, they tried to, before transportation impact fees increased last year, they saw this coming and they tried to get their engineering and all of those, and Zach's nodding his head, to get those things moving. They were not able to get things in
Done in
place
time.
fast enough to
Correct.
move that along, so.
Yep.
Okay,
And I really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you so much for hearing my proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
any questions or comments from anyone in the audience or council?
Yeah, I think we just need to make it a little more friendly for businesses to open. It seems like it's a real struggle. And if you look around everywhere around us, Ridgefield, Klamath, it seems like we're just getting left behind and everyone else is having new businesses open. So I think we need to make it a little easier.
Okay. That was the last one on individuals for not on the agenda. Anyone else in the audience have anything? Anyone online that has something? If you have something, you want to comment with your name in the chat and I will open it up for you. I don't see anyone online commenting in the chat. Okay,
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
we have a first and a second. Any,
Do we need to remove Public Works from the agenda before we approve it, since it didn't meet tonight? Or,
No.
nope. Nope. We'll just, yep. So I have a first with Ms. Rounds and a second, I believe, with Ms. Dowdy.
She can have it.
Amanda?
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Okay, moving into reports of standing committees, the Public Works meeting was canceled today.
You missed reports of city council.
Oh, I'm sorry, reports of city council. Ms. Dowdy.
I'd like to report that we had two wrestling athletes that medaled at state through our high school, and that our girls basketball is in state, in the run to state right now. They won their first game on Saturday, and their next game will be Wednesday night out of town. And so they are doing awesome, and spring sports tryouts started today. So lots of things happening in the sports world at the high school and middle school starting today too. So
And the girls' basketball team
yeah, the girls
They
basketball
won
won their
on
first
Saturday.
game.
Yep.
And they play Wednesday night.
Correct. In Yakima. Yep. Any other items?
Mosquito Control District is next Tuesday, but we haven't signed the committees yet.
Yep. Okay. Any other
Denise
reports of
Council.
city council? Is bingo still happening?
Oh, yes, sorry. March
Let me help you out.
15th. Mark your calendars. Class of 2025 is having a spring fling bingo, and you can win hams and prizes. And it's going to be at the high school, and I think the games start at 5:30. And it is all going to the Class of 2025's drug and alcohol-free grad party following graduation. So it's going to be much like turkey bingo, but with hams and prizes.
Perfect.
So it should be fun, and same prices as turkey bingo.
What's his date?
March 15th
At the high school.
at the high school.
March 15th.
Doors open at 4. Games start at 5:30.
Okay. And food is for sale there.
Yes.
Any
And at
other reports
5:15?
of city council members?
5:15.
5:30 start time.
All right, now we'll go into reports of standing committees. Public Works was canceled today. Riley is out sick. One thing I would report here on this is Public Works building officially is up for sale. There is a for sale sign in the front window there. A couple people will be looking at it this week. We believe there are 5 or 6 interested parties. So hopefully we can move that piece along.
The old Spruce building, right?
Yeah, the old Spruce building, correct.
Do you know how long their contract is for listing on that?
I don't, I mean, I would think that we could get it sold before the listing runs out.
I was just curious. I just wonder why they didn't use a commercial real estate realtor.
We went out to bid, we had a few conversations with multiple people, and that's who we chose is, Mary from Woodland or Woodland Real Estate, who is just right there. So, and we've got quite a bit of interest in the listing, so, okay. Reports of city officers. My items went out the door here with these few pieces. I do have on here the EMS interlocal cooperation agreement. I put that on the agenda here as a topic of discussion. They're looking at expanding and adding 2 seats to that. They're looking kind of ideas and saying, hey, does Woodland agree that we should add 2 seats to it? Are we okay with the current 5? Anyone have thoughts or ideas? Just so I can get back to them. I mean, no action item here. They will take their own action item, but it's just, how does Woodland really feel? I think I support having more opportunities for this small community such as us or La Center to be on that board. Obviously, they had 2. Woodland doesn't necessarily get one, but it gives us more opportunity. Anyone disagree? Okay. City Council committee assignments. My apologies, that should have been done the first of the year. Went right out the window with a few things, and so I profusely apologize for making that mistake. So the first one is the Finance Committee, 3 members. I think it would be good to mix things up a little bit. So if you were on a committee this year, in 2024, I think it'd be good to move to 2024 somewhere else. So, committee members for finance, are there 3 people that weren't on the previous one that would like to do it in 2025?
I'll do it.
I'll join you for that.
Do I need to stay on then I'm signing
Yes,
checks?
that's
Okay.
yes, and that's why I was looking at you, Miss
Okay.
Rounds. Okay. HR. Okay. Douglas. Anyone else on HR?
I would love to stay on it, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Mr. Hall. Any that you would like to be on?
I've been on the HR.
Oh, that's right. You have
yeah,
been.
And I'm actually open to wherever you put it.
'Kay.
It's fine. So,
You want to go to Public Works?
sure.
Okay. Anyone else want to be on HR?
Me.
Okay, JJ? Public Works? I got Hall.
I wouldn't mind for a change.
Okay.
I've been on that.
Okay, and you would like to stay on? Perfect. Douglas? What about Public Safety? I got 3 people right there. Perfect. So, Melissa, Gabe, and Jason. Okay, and CW Cog right now, that's Miss Rounds.
And I didn't do a very good job, so I'd like for somebody else to try to do it.
Is there somebody that would like to be invested with that? No, he's the
No,
mosquito
no.
expert.
Yeah.
He's our little mosquito.
I mean,
Again, it's not a lot of
unless
work.
somebody
It-
wants
No.
it.
It's once a month.
It's once a month, but I think it's a good opportunity for the city here to
We
partnership.
need to be on it.
Yeah, and, because again, that's where some of the funding comes through. So,
And you can do that by,
When is
Phone.
the meetings for
it's-
that?
you can,
Is it just prior to council meeting that they meet, or what?
No, they meet at lunch.
late lunch.
yeah.
That makes it a challenge.
Right. Mr. Hall?
No, up in Longview.
I'm open to whatever.
All right, I got Terry. Perfect. Downtown revitalization.
They request to have an alternate in case Councilmember
Oh.
Hall can't make it.
Okay.
I can.
JJ, you're our, okay, for CW. Downtown revitalization, they meet on Mondays, 4 o'clock at City Hall. I try to bebop into those.
Every Monday or?
No, it's first
Whenever-
Monday, no, second Monday, I believe, of the month.
At 4?
I'll do it.
Unless somebody else.
Dave, you want that one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay, Cowlitz County Mosquito Board. Who wants to be a mosquito? JJ, you want to stay on that?
Yep.
Okay. So, I want to make sure that I have everybody's approval and blessing and Ms. Hogan. So, Finance Committee, Gabe, Jason, and Ms. Rounds. HR, Douglas, Melissa, and JJ. Public Works, Terry, Carol, and Douglas. Public Safety, Melissa, Gabe, and Jason. CW Cog, Mr. Hall with JJ as a backup. Downtown Revitalization is Gabe, and the Mosquito would be Mr. Burke. Everyone in agreement with that as a council? Anyone have issues, concerns? Speak now or forever? For at least 12 months, 9 months? All right. Okay, I apologize again for not doing that. I will make sure and put it on my ticker for next January. Upcoming events, comp plan, open house on the 25th, city council on the 17th, and a planning commission.
15th. Not 25th, 15th.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the 15th, yeah. 17th is city council, the 20th is a planning commission. And also, I would like to let individuals know that there is an all-day open house on March 15th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. where Mr. Goddard will be here in the room asking questions, answering questions, and having dialogue.
That's on the 15th.
Correct. On the 15th is an all-day. So you can come here, see Mr. Goddard, and then head to bingo. Okay? All right, any questions, comments on those items? Okay, moving to consent items. Approved minutes from the city council regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions or comments on it? I have a first by Ms. Dowdy and a second by Ms. Rounds. Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action items. Action item D, approve vouchers, February 2025.
Make a motion to approve vouchers.
Can I ask a question about one of
Yep,
those ones?
Sure.
What was the charge, it says 75 accounts, PUD, the $21,000, is that just all the accounts? that-
Probably all the lights and stuff, but
Okay, I was just curious.
it's in here.
I didn't fully hear
It's
your
on the
question.
first
there.
page. I was just wondering what,
$75,000.
that was just accounts we have all over town for different buildings.
Oh, you're talking about the PUD.
Yeah.
Correct. That's all of them. We have some streetlights. We have multiple buildings. That's
So
for the
basically
pump.
75 meter, we have separate
Yeah.
meters.
So the biggest expense out of that is the rainy day wells where the larger pumps are at. So, yep.
Second.
So I have a first from
Me.
Ms. Rounds and a second from Ms. Dowd. Any other questions from the community or anyone on council about our vouchers? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item E, ordinance number 1570, amending WMC 13.04.240 nonprofit organization suspension of services for irrigation meters. Second and final
Motion
reading.
to approve.
I have a first from Mr. Burke and
Second.
a second from Ms. Dowdy. Anyone have questions or comments from online? I have a comment from Mr. Rip that would say, thank you for council for supporting this ordinance for waiving fees for non-use of irrigation water fees. Anyone else in the room? Anyone on council have a discussion item about this? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item F, resolution number 799, authorizing an agreement with Umpqua Bank Commercial Card Program. Comments or, I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any comments or questions from the community members? This here, we have the same terms as we previously had. It gets rid of that third-party mediary, and we are now able to work directly with Umpqua Bank. We will have the same credit limits, same individuals will have cards. Our primary account is at Umpqua, where we have a great working relationship. This just makes it so that we're not going through a third party and then also trying to get timely statements and all that. So it was one of those action items that we said, hey, let's get things going with Umpqua Bank. Questions or comments? So I have a first and a second.
Move to approve. Yeah, all in favor.
Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Motion to end meeting.
Second.
With that, it is now 8:05. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
I'd also like to say, because I forgot
Recording
to tell you
stopped.
guys, on the 21st and 22nd, I know, I've been to the meeting, but I'm still going to tell you guys, on the 21st and 22nd, there is a all-district play at the high school, Alice in Wonderland Junior, that will be having performances from elementary all the way to high school students are in it.
What date is that?
The 21st and 22nd.